Yo, what is up, World Meta Beeps here? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. It is so good to be back. This week's vlog, we're going to be talking about two commercials that I recently have seen on the interweb. You guys maybe have seen them on TV, maybe you have not, but I do want to break down these commercials and talk to you guys about what I look for and what I think about when I'm watching commercials, because it's easy for me to say I watch commercials differently and I look for the lighting, the camera work. It's very easy for me to say that, but for you guys, I don't know if there's enough context in that explanation. So let's dive a little bit closer into how I look at these commercials, and we're gonna look at the BTS of these commercials to take a closer look. So without wasting any more time, let's get into this week's vlog. Alright, so jumping into the very first frame, this is a Geico commercial. This is a commercial that I found on YouTube. I did not see it on television. Also, this particular commercial had a BTS video. So that is where I'm getting all this BTS video. Looking at our slate here, we have the director, Randy Krallman, and also the DP, the cinematographer, Jeffrey Kim. And taking a look at our monitor, we're shooting at 23.976 frames, which is normally what I shoot. The shutter angle is at 180 degrees. Normally cameras work in shutter speed, but when you get into the higher end cinema cameras, they are filming in shutter angle. And moving on to the EI, the exposure index, aka ISO, they are filming at 1000 ISO, and they have an ND filter on there at 1.2 stops. White balance is at 4000 Kelvin, which means the camera is rated somewhere in between daylight and tungsten balanced. I know the camera that they are shooting on is the ARRI Alexa Mini. And taking a quick look to the left side of our monitor, they are shooting at 3.2K. All right, so let's keep it moving. All right, so this shot here, you can see all the equipment right outside. This commercial just so happens to take place in a house, in a living room, and most of the time when you're filming in a location like a house, for example, you don't want to bring all that equipment inside. You could damage walls, you can damage floors, so it's much better that you have a designated area right outside the house so you can have all your equipment nearby. So taking a look at some of the equipment that they are using, you see the guy right there with that huge white flag. That is for bouncing or diffusing light. I'm not sure exactly how they use that because in the BTS I didn't really see that anywhere, but my guess is that they are bouncing light off of that. And then if we look to the right of that, we have a tall rectangular light, which I'm pretty sure that is a light mat. Looks like it's a 2x4 light mat. I have used light mats before on shoots. Also, if we look around a little bit more, you will see some ARRI lights. Now these are ARRI Fresnel lights. We have some barn doors on there. I believe this is a 5K or a 6K light. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not too sure 100% on that. But if you look to the right of this bush here, we do see one of those lights that is on, and it is shooting through a window, emulating daylight. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the commercial. Notice where the light falls. You can see on some of our talent where the light is hitting their face. Look for the shadows. That lets you know where the direction of the light is coming from. So keep that in mind. Let's take a look. All right, let's take a quick look at this frame here. We can see we have what looks like someone coming out of the couch. If we look to the bottom left of the frame, in our smaller frame, we have Jeffrey Kim, the DP, operating the camera, which is directly above our talent. And the way that the camera is floating above him is not on a tripod. They're probably using a Chapman Leonard Hustler or a JL Fisher doll. Not too sure exactly which one they're using, but that helps them keep the camera away from talent. And then also the camera is on a slider, which helps slide out the camera to be able to go over top talent or whatever they need it to be. So that is what the camera is sitting on. All right, so this shot here is actually really cool. This is a 3 shot because we have 3 characters in the frame. So if we take a look at the BTS shot, we're really focusing on the lighting. And again, like I said, when you're watching a commercial or when I'm watching a commercial, I'm always looking for the shadows or where the light is touching our talent or our object or our subjects. So if you look at the lady in this shot with the headphones on, you can see on her cheek we have a hit of light. Now if we take a look at the bottom left little frame I have there, you can see that there is a light clearly to her left, camera left, and that is where that light is coming from. Now you can also see the windows behind her, but that is not exactly where the light is coming from. They added a light there to pump in some more light to help control the quality of the light. It's kind of a soft light. I'm assuming they're using that light mat that we spoke about earlier. If you've never used light mats before, they are LED lights. They are pretty big, so they cast a nice soft light. And also it looks like they have a light grid on there to help control where the light is hitting. If they didn't have that light grid on there, which kind of looks like a little egg crate, light would just splatter everywhere. So with those light grids, it helps direct the light. That is the key light of the scene, and it's pretty awesome. So now you know when you watch this commercial, know that the light that is touching all of our actors is a fake light. It's not from the light outside, it's just emulating it, and that is a use of practical lighting. All right, so quick little recap of that Geico commercial. Again, I found that on YouTube. The links for that video for the BTS and the actual commercial are in the description down below, so check them out when you get a chance. Now, that's just one thing that I look at when I'm watching commercials. I'm always looking for the direction of the light and also the quality of the light. Is it a soft light? Are there no shadows? Are the shadows very faint? Or is it a hard light? Are the shadows very distinct? And also, I'm always thinking about where the camera is. If you remember Jeffrey Kim, that shot where the guy was coming out of the couch, it's kind of at a higher angle and we're looking down. So I'm always thinking of where the camera is, where the placement of the camera is, and also what equipment are they using to achieve that shot. Well, let's move on to this last video. This is a really cool video. It's of the Apple HomePod. So I love this commercial. I've probably watched it like 30 times by now. But let's take a look at it. All right, this commercial was directed by Spike Jonze. He is a great, phenomenal director. He has done a lot of commercial work, music videos, movies. He directed the movie Her, if you ever seen it. Such a beautiful movie, and he is just a great director. So let's jump into the first part of this breakdown. All right, so let's take a look at the behind the scenes photo. You see Spike Jonze operating the camera. He is one of those directors that loves to get down and dirty. He'll grab the camera and he operates it. It's really cool, it's really awesome to see him work. So what you're seeing now is Spike Jonze handhold that camera. And if you notice, there is a little handheld shakiness going on in the commercial, which gives it that energy. When you're operating the camera handheld, there's a lot more motion. You see the transfer of movement in the frame, in the camera, and it gives it some sort of energy, it gives it some sort of life, and I think that's why he chose to film this particular scene handheld, because the dancing is going on, the wall is moving back, and there are many other options that Spike Jonze could have used for this camera movement. And if you're wondering what options Spike Jonze could have went with for moving the camera, if we take a look here, we could have seen that Spike Jonze could have used an easy rig. Now you may be thinking the easy rig looks really funny. You have this huge little bar overhead of the camera operator, but it takes off most of the weight, if not all of the weight, on that operator. So they don't have to hold such a heavy camera. The easy rig is taking most of the weight, but you're still gonna get a little more shakiness going on, but it's a lot more smoother, a lot easier to operate than going handheld. So this is another option that Spike Jonze could have used. One more option that Spike Jonze could have went with, he could have used a gimbal. Now a gimbal is operated by motors. There are 3 axes, X, Y, Z. I think those are the 3 axes that the gimbal works off of, and it works to keep the camera very steady. Now this feels very omniscient, very robotic-like. There is practically no movement at all as the camera moves, as the operator moves with the camera, and this kind of gives you a feeling of steadiness. This gives you a feeling of pure balance. Now I use that word omniscient because David Fincher used that word, so I stole it from him.
I just love the idea of this omniscience. Like the camera, it just goes over here kind of perfectly, and then it kind of goes over there kind of, and it doesn't have any personality to it. It's very much like what's happening was doomed to happen.
But I think what David Fincher meant by saying omniscient means that the camera feels like it's just floating. It feels like it's just natural, that it's in the scene, there's total control. And whenever you see steady shots, usually it's because the scene calls for it. Those are a couple of options that Spike Jonze could have went with, but luckily he went handheld to transfer over the energy and the motion of that scene. All right, so this shot here is super cool. You can see that the camera is moving in and out, and it's moving very smooth. So you're probably wondering, how in the world are they doing that? All right, so let's take a look at our BTS little still. If you look to the top right of the frame, you can see the camera kind of creeping in. Now, my guess, the camera is probably on a Chapman Leonard mini scope, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so please don't flame me if I get that wrong. But essentially, it's on a crane, so the movement is super steady. And if you look at the scene, she's opening the walls, but I think that the camera translates that steadiness of the scene of her opening the walls. It's just a really cool shot. It shows that she kind of is controlling her world, which the camera movement portrays that. All right, so let's jump into the last part of the commercial. This is definitely one of my favorite shots. So we have our talent dancing towards the couch, and if you look to the bottom left here, I have the BTS still, so I'm gonna stop it. We're not using a gimbal, we're not using an easy rig. This is all handheld to transfer over the motion of our talent, of our actress dancing, right? So it feels natural, it feels like you're there, it feels like you're almost kind of dancing with her. And if you take a look, there is this huge white ball, which is known as a space light, or also known as a China ball. But it kind of looks like that light is not even on right now as our dancer moves closer to the couch, but you'll see when they turn it on in our next BTS frame. And also the guy to the right of Spike Jonze is holding a bounce board. What that is used for is to bounce light back onto our talent. All right, so in this frame here on the bottom left, you can see that Spike Jonze is hand holding the camera again. So if you notice in the commercial, as soon as that hard light shuts off, our China ball turns on. And that is that warm light that is on our talent's face now. You can even see the China ball in her eye. If you notice that little shiny part in the bottom of her eye, that is the China ball. That's where that light is coming from, and it's a very soft light. There's not too many shadows on her face. It just looks elegant and beautiful. There you have it. Now you guys have a little insight of how I personally watch commercials. So maybe, just maybe, the next time you guys watch a commercial, you too will be focusing on some of the aspects, some of the things that I focus on, that I pay attention to, so that maybe if you have any questions on any commercials, or if you have any thoughts on a specific commercial, you can share it with me. I can check it out, we can chat about it. So don't be afraid to share a link with me. I would love to watch anything and everything that you guys think deserves some more attention. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this week's vlog. I had a lot of fun breaking down those two commercials. Again, if you guys want to see the full commercial or the full BTS of both of those commercials, the links are in the description down below, so check them out. It's really cool stuff. So if you guys enjoyed this week's vlog, you know what to do. Go ahead and do a super jump on the like button down below, and also get subscribed to the YouTube channel. Every Wednesday is a brand new vlog. I'm Cinematographer, and I'll see you guys in 7 days. Peace.